Hello everyone, welcome to Crafting with Lee. Today I'm going to make this square burlap seaside wreath. These are the supplies I'm going to use to make this wreath. I'm using a square wreath form. I got this huge roll of burlap from a garden website. I really like the way it looks when the wreath is done, but it is super messy. I usually make these wreaths outside, but I wanted to record this one. So I'm actually wearing an apron because it will get all over you. Even though it's really messy, it's super affordable and I really love the raw edges. I'm going to start by adding the burlap to a crossbar with a zip tie. And since there's only two sections, an inside and outside section, I'm just going to be going back and forth and alternating which section I'm adding a poof or a bubble to. And I believe I do 5-inch poofs or bubbles. It's helpful to measure to see how big you want it to be, and you can measure it throughout whenever you feel you might be off. But you can usually judge by the one you've done before how big you want it to be. Since this is the first section, I'm going to try to fit as much burlap as I can in my hand, just to make sure it doesn't pull back through. You won't have to do this once you get some stuffed in there, but just at the beginning I like to hold it because it's easily pulled through the opposite way. You always want to pull from the roll. And you can see right here that it's going in order. It's lined up nice and neat. I don't really like my wreaths to be like that with the burlap. I like it really twisted and turned. The rest of the wreath turns out that way, but this section stayed lined up like this, which is great if that's how you want your wreath to look. You could just do that the whole way around. I don't. So to fix that at the end, you can just go through and twist and turn the poofs and it will make them look like the rest of the wreath. I am going to show you going around this corner because I thought it was going to be a little different than the rest of the wreath, and it actually wasn't. It was exactly the same way. I was thinking about adding that zip tie to make a stopping point, but I don't think the zip tie was going to hold very well there, and it really didn't have any issue. I did it exactly the same way I did the rest of the wreath because I thought I was going to need more on the outside than the inside, just because there's a turn. I'm not sure why I thought that, but it turned out perfectly just doing the same way that I did the entire wreath. And I really wanted to make sure I had a square shape. I was worried that with doing the bubble method that I was going to lose those corners because it kind of turned round. And I just showed you a handful of the stuff that comes off of the wreath. It's really messy. All right, I pulled my last poof through. It took me about 20 minutes to make this wreath, which isn't that bad. It's a pretty good size wreath. And now I'm just going to go to the same crossbar I started on and add a zip tie to secure it. And then just trim those away. And you can see there's tons of strings. You can leave those if you like them. I don't. So I'm going to go back through and take them out. And the way I do that is I pull until it doesn't come out anymore, and then I cut it. And I kind of push my scissors down into it, so when it cuts, it's down inside the wreath. The piece that's left is inside the wreath. And of course, I probably missed some, but I got most of them. You can see the big pile here. All right, that's what it looks like. See how good those rough edges look? I really like that. All right, now I'm deciding where I'm going to add everything. I really like the sign to be on the bottom right, so I'm going to add a bow to the top left. I'm going to use my bow dabra, and I'm using 3 different ribbon colors, and the 2 top ribbons are actually 1.5 inches. The bottom ribbon is 2.5. So I'm going to start with the sheer turquoise ribbon, and they're all wired. And I actually have a video on how to make a bow with a bow dabra that's in real time. So I'm going to link that here so you can watch that, because I kind of skipped through this one. But you just push it in there and turn it. I usually turn it away from myself. And I like to measure the first loops. And then as I go up in ribbons, I make the loops smaller and smaller. You see here that came in probably about 1/2 of an inch from the outside ones. And I'm going to do 3 on each side of the brown ribbon. And all my ribbon is wired. I didn't randomly choose these colors. Each one of these colors is in the sign. I just happen to have ribbon that matched perfectly. And I only do 2 on each side of this light aqua color. And I leave some ribbon hanging after I finish the bow, because I wasn't sure if I was going to make a center loop. You can see that big piece hanging right there. Because if I didn't want to make a center loop, I could just cut it away. But if I do, I still have it there. So I'm just going to slide a zip tie under it, move the zip tie over to the center, and then squeeze it. And then I do go back and add another zip tie because I did want to keep the center loop. And I put it over the center ribbon, and I added a pipe cleaner so I can attach it to the wreath. And to attach it, I just feed the pipe cleaner through the burlap, and I just twist it around itself. Yeah, you can see right there, I just pull it through the wire edges. Then I'll just fluff it a little bit. Now to add my sign, I'm going to staple some pipe cleaners, and I needed to put some kind of cushion because this sign was so thin. So I used cardboard, and now I'm just going to do the same thing I did with the bow, where I feed the pipe cleaners through the burlap and then wrap them around each other. I'll go back and add tails to my bow. The 1.5 inch ribbon, I did 18-inch tails, and then the other ribbon I did 12-inch tails. And then I attached those together with a zip tie with a pipe cleaner and just wrap the pipe cleaner around the bow. To make the curly Q tails, I wrapped the ribbon around a marker. And that's it. That's how I made my square burlap wreath. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, or you can email me at craftingwithlee@yahoo.com. Thanks so much for watching, and if you learned anything or liked my video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.